Well, you see, the thing is here that it's not Castlevania. But it is Castlevania. But it's not Castlevania. But it is Castlevania. But it's not. Hi there. It's been a while since we've done one of these obscure old games episodes, hasn't it? Well, I'm Retro Gaming Puppet, and we're doing it. Yeah, you know, when we started this show, the intention was always to leave room for newer games that are retro-styled, to kind of help get the word out, you know? But, yeah, it's been over 6 years and we've never done that. Well, better late than never. We're doing it now. Let's talk about Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon. If you're unawares, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is a project by former Konami employee Koji Igarashi, also known as IGA. IGA worked on many Castlevania games in his previous life, and when he had an acrimonious split from Konami, he kickstarted what is essentially a brand new entry in the Castlevania series, but, well, not, because copyright. Bloodstained was funded on Kickstarter in 2014 when 64,867 backers pledged over $5.5 million to make it the most successful video game on the crowdfunding platform at the time. Even now, 4 years later, only Shenmue 3 has managed to surpass it. Now, this video is not actually about the main Bloodstained game, as it's still not out yet. When the project passed the absurd stretch goal of 4.5 million, a prequel minigame was added. Then on May 24th, 2018, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon was released on Switch, Steam, PS4, and PS Vita, with 3DS and Xbox One coming slightly after. The game was developed by IntiCreates, the folks behind Mega Man 9 among others, and it's very clearly inspired by Castlevania 3, so how does it stack up? I'll spare you the suspense. It stacks up very well. For a game that was both a bonus to a crowdfunding campaign and wears its influences so heavily on its sleeve, it would have been easy to just drop something out that's a handful of stages and technically delivers on what was promised. But that is not how IGA and IntiCreates roll. They basically made a fourth NES Castlevania game here. Sure, it's clear they've done what Shovel Knight did and cheated a bit on things like the number of on-screen colors and parallax scrolling layers. This game would not run on an actual NES, but at first blush it looks like the real deal, ain't it? This is no slapdash effort, though supposedly it only took IntiCreates about 6 months to make it. Still, you can feel the passion they put in that relatively brief time. So here's the setup. You play as a dude named Zangetsu, a demon hunter with a katana, who's out to purge the world of evil. As he travels to an unnamed castle to take on some demonic hordes, he meets 3 fellow travelers who offer to help him out. Miriam, a demon hunter herself, armed with a whip, a wizard named Alfred, and what appears to be some kind of demon hybrid named Gabble. If this sounds vaguely familiar, it's because you've probably played Castlevania 3 before. Zangetsu fills in for Trevor, Miriam for Grant, and that she's more mobile and, like the Japanese version of Castlevania 3, has the longest range attack. Alfred is Sypha, and Gabble is very obviously Alucard. There are a couple of noteworthy changes to the gameplay though. First of all, unlike Dracula's Curse, this game allows you to have all 3 companions. You don't have to choose one. Secondly, there are no branching pathways in terms of which stage you go to next, so you don't have to be on a certain path to get a certain companion. They all pop up in every playthrough. The final difference in terms of companions is that you can actually choose to kill them. Yes, you can, instead of taking them with you, murder the companion characters. If you do this, Zangetsu will get a new ability, but the game actively discourages you from doing this, and if you kill them all, you get the worst ending, though you do unlock a new mode. It also makes the game a lot harder. Why harder? Well, I'm glad you asked. 2 big reasons. One, while you gain some new abilities, they're a poor substitute for the abilities of your companions, which grant you access to alternate paths within the levels.
2. Your companions act as extra lives on top of your extra lives, if you're playing on the veteran difficulty, which I did. See, you have to lose all your available characters to actually lose a life in this game, and if you only have Zangetsu, that means each life is actually only 1 life, instead of up to 4 lives in one. Continuing after losing just one character also puts the checkpoints closer than when you lose a full life. Now, I should also point out that the NES Castlevania games are not the only point of reference here. IGA has stated that he's a big fan of Dracula X Rondo of Blood for the PC Engine CD, and that influence shows in this game in 2 big ways. While the game lacks full stage branching paths, it does include in-stage branches like Rondo of Blood, which can hide power-ups like longer life bars, higher attack and defense, and more. The other thing might be a bit frustrating for new players. Just like Dracula X, many of the bosses will attempt to get a final hit on you after they're defeated, and if you're not expecting it, it's pretty surprising.
Still, even at its hardest, doing a Zangetsu solo play with the veteran settings, which limits your lives and adds knockback when taking a hit, the game is still quite a bit easier than the NES Castlevania games.
The enemy placement isn't as brutal, and the variety of attacks at your companion's disposal, coupled with the fact that you can have all of them with you, makes it a much less trying experience, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing, though I do tend to enjoy a stiff challenge. Even with it not having that classic difficulty curve, it still has a lot of replay value. There are a total of 3 modes. The normal mode, playing as Zangetsu and recruiting the others as you play, is your standard. Then you get Nightmare mode after beating the game with your companions. This mode sees Zangetsu out of the rotation and the players starting with Miriam, Alfred, and Gebel together from the very beginning. It changes some boss patterns, and it has a totally different final stage and final boss from the normal mode. Ultimate mode is the final mode, unlocked by playing the entire game with just Zangetsu, and while I haven't unlocked it yet, I can tell you it allows you to play as Zangetsu starting with all the abilities he gains from killing the companions, and then still collect the companions, which is cool, though it does feature the same final stage and ending as the normal mode.
Between the modes, the looks, and the music by Castlevania stalwart Michiru Yamane, among many others, this game is 100% worth $10 on the platform of your choice. I mean, yeah, we got it for free because we backed the Kickstarter, but you know what? We played through it twice in the first 3 days it was out, and if that's not a vote of confidence, I don't know what is. So yeah, that does it. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Roger the Retro Gaming Puppet, and I'll see you next time, right here on Obscure Old Games.
On the night of the full moon, demonkind's stronghold is under siege by its worst nightmare. Zangetsu, a sword-wielding exorcist who will stop at nothing to eradicate all demons.